All right, what's up, guys? I am checking out new games. Just want to look at everything, see what all is there.
Summer's coming up fast, and you know what that means. A whole slew of new games. And this year's been good. Frankly, October, November, December, that's the primetime stretch for the gaming public. So I'm excited for what's coming. Hi, folks, it's Falcon, and today on Gameranx, the top 10 new games of November 2023. Without wasting any time, starting off at number 10, it is The Invincible. So, not a lot of games are adaptations of novels, and I'm not going to pretend that I know a lot about the 1964 novel The Invincible. I know it's Polish. I know Starward Industries, the developer,
is cool.
Also Polish. I know The Witcher is another example of a Polish developer adapting a Polish novel with good results, but this is nothing like The Witcher. With a vast swath of influences listed from Alien Isolation to Firewatch, a kind of retro-futuristic Fallout look. I mean, on idea alone and what this game looks like, it is intriguing to say the very least. Very orange color palette. You're not on Mars, you're on a planet called Regis 3, and you're searching for missing crew members and dealing...
Dude, this looks pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. This is like Elon's dream right here. You get to see what Elon's thinking.
With Alien Isolation listed as an inspiration, some kind of AI monster hunting you, right? And there's a lot going on here, and the narrative looks interesting. They have a whole book to actually pull from, so if it all comes together, this is gonna be fantastic. I'm pretty excited for it. The Invincible is landing on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC November 6th. At number 9 is The Day Before. Yes,
that looks like some good old-fashioned, exploring. You know what I mean? Good old-fashioned exploring, right there.
Allegedly coming out. This is one of those, is it really coming out release dates? There has been some information in recent days about this open world MMO survival game where there is some alleged movement in terms of they won a lawsuit that allows them to keep their name. There's a rumor that it's going to get delayed till December, but as of now, this game's coming out November 10th. And
it looks pretty cool.
When it was announced was pretty friggin' impressive.
I mean, you can drive Lamborghinis in it. That's pretty cool, right? It's like Last of Us with Lamborghinis. Lamburger weenies.
Not gonna lie, I'm a lot less impressed with it now that I've seen Alan Wake 2. And also, it's not like they've put out footage of this game that really feels groundbreaking.
Oh crap! See, I never seen Alan Wake 2 yet. I guess that's what everybody's doing. Let me zoom in a little. Alright, yeah, I've never seen Alan Wake 2. I never even played the first Alan Wake. I heard it's great. I just haven't played it.
Anyway, graphically, yes, it's pretty, but it's also kind of empty, at least what we've seen so far. And they've been somewhat secretive throughout.
I gotta say, it's pretty, but it's not like gorgeous. You know what I mean? It's not like next gen looking.
The development process, understand
that doesn't look bad right there.
It seems like they may not have been.
But this looks like Division 2
to have the name The Day Before, and when they finally won their lawsuit,
you know what I mean?
It triggered some activity. So to be fair, it may be that they feel empowered now. We'll see though. The Day Before is allegedly coming to PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series, and PC.
That doesn't look that great.
And number 8 is Like a Dragon Gaiden, a game that, well.
After playing, I mean, maybe it's the video quality too. It could be the video quality. It says high def, whatever. But after playing Spider-Man 2, a lot of things don't look good anymore. I felt the same way with Red Dead 2. Felt the same with God of War. I felt the same way with Last of Us 2. Things just don't... Games, they have to really push to look good anymore. That's my opinion.
Basically continues the Yakuza series, which has been continued as a JRPG, but also injects another variable. So as we know, Judgment and Lost Judgment take place in the same world, timeline, and place as most of the Yakuza games. I mean, world and timeline.
I haven't played Yakuza.
And Like a Dragon Gaiden
I watched
is kind
it
of
being played, but I never
branch
played it myself.
sequel of Yakuza 6, where Kiryu has faked his death and is working as an agent for the Daidoji faction. And in all honesty, this looks a lot like Judgment. Maybe not fully like it. Like, imagine Judgment, except you're a secret agent, kind of, but also still kind of a gang guy. You're definitely not on
That's
the side
definitely
of the law in this.
the
one,
Matrix
still.
feeling.
Considering the man who erased
It looks
his
cool.
name,
Looks fun.
Judgment, and now the Like a Dragon, and following that, Infinite Wealth games are all kind of just continuing the story of Yakuza 6 in their own way.
Dang.
I'm kind of excited how all of these are eventually going to converge, because I feel like that has to happen eventually. I don't know. These are all really good games.
I have no name.
And of course,
Maybe
I'm
he
looking
really
forward
doesn't
to
have a
more
name.
Kiryu.
I don't know.
Duh. I love Yakuza, or Like a Dragon as it's now called, and I like that they've branched it out to have different gameplay styles and playing for different sides of the law / factions, etc. Basically, there's nothing I could possibly complain about here. I love this world. It's coming to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC November 9th worldwide. And number 7 is Star Ocean: The Second Story R,
Star
a
Ocean.
full remake.
What the? So this is Star Ocean. I remember playing Star Ocean a long time ago, but graphics weren't like this. This must be like this is the second story.
Of Star Ocean: The Second Story.
It looks cool, kinda,
PlayStation
I'll be
1
honest.
game. Now, I think this is interesting just based on aesthetic alone. So, you might think, based on what they're doing here, that the original PlayStation game was sprites on 3D backgrounds. And, you know, that's a normal assumption, but it's actually not true. The original Star Ocean: Second Story is an entirely 2D game. There were quite a few sprites on 3D backgrounds type games at the time, but Star Ocean: Second
I can
Story is
dig it.
actually not
I can
one of
get into
those.
this.
Now, that being said, the battle system in the original
I can get into this. The whole 3D background, 2D. I mean, it's cool. It's really cool way to capture like the old feel of the games, like back in the day, and just add a little punch of you know, modern day stuff.
Star Ocean: Second Story is
I can dig
and
it.
It's probably why people have this type of memory oriented around the game, despite the
I can
fact
dig it.
that it had relatively small amounts of the game in this format. It really stuck. This
Never
being
played Star
said,
Ocean,
it's
though,
a
before.
Drastic jump in fidelity.
I heard good things
in
about
terms
Star
of
Ocean.
PlayStation versus current background capabilities for this game. And although it definitely feels familiar if you remember those battles from the original game, it is leaps and bounds beyond it. Now,
Everything
Star
looks
Ocean:
cool.
The Second Story
I
is
don't
a
remember
fantastic
anything, though.
Science fantasy JRPG from the 90s, and it brings with it everything you could possibly imagine from that genre and time. I'm excited. I really look forward to playing this game again. I love particularly...
Does anybody else kind of miss bad graphics, and like when they couldn't help it? I kind of missed the old games where everything, we had to use our imagination more. It'd be like, oh, that's Goku, you know, the pixels and stuff. I kind of missed that a little bit. Not enough to where I want to like play that for the rest of my life, but I do want to go back and just play. Like, for instance, I just downloaded WoW Classic, World of Warcraft Classic, and looking at those crappy character models, it got me so excited. It brought back so much of the old days. Like when I first fired up WoW back in the day in vanilla. Oh my gosh. And I did it again. I got back into it. I started playing it again. But I got to the first quest giver and everything froze up on me. And it felt like I was still playing on the worst PC ever. And it felt like I was still playing when the game just came out. So that's realistic to have like 2000 latency as soon as you start playing the game.
Mid to late 90s JRPGs. Star Ocean: The Second Story R is coming to the PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and PC November 2nd.
Right on.
And number 6 is the Talos Principle 2, the follow-up to the first-person puzzle game that frankly came out quite a while ago, almost a decade, 9 years ago in 2014.
That's
I guess
cool.
The best way to describe Talos Principle is
Bunch
a
of Iron Man.
philosophy puzzler. A lot of the stuff that you know from Portal exists in the Talos Principle, but in terms of its scope of narrative, it's a lot heavier than Portal. And this looks like a big jump up from the original Talos Principle.
This looks
First
like
off, it's
it would drive me
prettier
nuts.
for reasons that are probably obvious. It's been a decade. But even for people who don't love the narrative, Talos Principle was a good puzzle game. And to be frank, I'm looking forward to more of that.
So this is a lot like Portal.
The story is bad or
This
I
looks
actually
really
like the
good.
story quite a bit. But even just as a
I'd be
puzzle
down.
game, Talos Principle was top notch. Talos Principle 2 is coming to PS5.
I'd be down for
Xbox
trying out a
Series,
good old
and
puzzle
PC
game like this.
on November 2nd.
Comes out
And
November.
number 5
It's already
is
out.
Persona 5 Tactica, a game that, just to be frank,
What?
is
Persona 5 Tactica.
a little confusing in terms of what it wants to be.
This is like Tactics Advanced for Final Fantasy?
It's not Fire Emblem. I know that's probably
It's not Fire
what
Emblem,
people
okay.
immediately think when they think JRPG goes tactical. It's
Yeah.
actually a lot closer to XCOM, and for my money, that's a good idea. It is significantly more cartoony than even Persona 5.
Have you guys played XCOM? I've seen it played. I haven't really played it, but it does look pretty cool. It's like a tactical shooter. This might be pretty fun for Persona universe, because Persona is a really good game.
I've seen even a lot of Mario and Rabbids comparisons, which, I mean, Mario Rabbids, awesome. Great sort of XCOM type tactical game. Lots of its own ideas as well. Also very different aesthetic, obviously.
Yes, very
Persona
different.
5 is a world that just like, the more narrative you can get out of it, the better. It's really, really a dense, enjoyable world. And I'm excited to jump
Synth
back into
line.
it.
Oh, yeah.
And while I, of course, love Persona 5's battle system, I'm actually kind of looking forward to playing it as an XCOM type game. Persona 5 Tactica is coming to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, Nintendo Switch, and PC.
I mean, I'd be real. Am I ever going to get to these games? I have so many games I have to play. I am so behind. I don't know if I'll ever get to any of these games. Even if I do think they look insanely brilliant and fun to play.
November 17th.
That's what's sad. There's so
and
many
number
games.
4 is RoboCop Rogue City, a game that I
Whoa.
think people have been kind of confused about because, first of all, like, first-person shooters are often about challenge, and RoboCop is kind of, well, an unstoppable badass in every possible way. He's also kind of a lumbering giant, but if you've played the demo for this game, it is actually extremely fun. For whatever reason, they really leaned into everything that makes RoboCop, and it works. It's a very different first-person shooter, honestly. You are slow, you're lumbering, you're a tank, you can absorb bullets, tons of damage before it actually has any real effect on you. Your weapons are crazy overpowered, and, well, it's fun as hell. It's also gorgeous. It's an Unreal Engine 5 game, and it shows. Honestly, there's not really, I think, a lot that I can do to describe it. If you've played the demo, you know what this game is.
I'm really excited. I really do want to play this game. I want to check it out. I love RoboCop. I love the brutality of it. It looks like it's like the original RoboCop type of feel. You know, everything's original. God, this movie is brilliant. It's amazing. One of my favorite movies, and of course, you know, Terminator 2 is the GOAT of movies, in my opinion. Terminator 2 is like one of the best movies ever made. It's just a good mix of everything. It's got a little humor, a little bit of kind of gore, I guess you would say. You know, it's violent, but it's sci-fi. And it's just really good storytelling. It's really good. But this RoboCop was one of my favorite. It was just it was dark. Tiny bits of humor in it, but it was dark. It had a good meaning behind it. Everything about it was just twisted. I loved it.
It's a very different first-person shooter that sounds like it shouldn't work, but it does. If the whole game is as good as that demo, I'm so in on RoboCop Rogue City. It's landing on next-gen consoles, so PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and also on PC November 2nd.
Who doesn't want to walk around and
And
just plow
number 3
through
is
people?
Football Manager 2024. everything about football, but
Oh, I don't care about this. But, dude, I will say how amazing is RoboCop, where he can just walk around super slow and just get shot. And, you know, you just walk around. There's no dodging. There's no, like, getting behind stuff. It's just like just a walking tank. I love that.
playing football itself.
I'm skipping football. I don't care.
Reboot series for Modern Warfare, continuing
Modern
the story,
Warfare 3?
Obviously, nobody is going to think that that's not happening. But also, Call of Duty isn't specifically about the story. Obviously, we enjoy the Call of Duty campaigns here, but there's a lot more in terms of.
I wonder if I'll ever buy a Call of Duty ever again.
From Call of Duty Modern Warfare,
I haven't bought one in so many years.
Will be available. Zombies is back. This one is open world, apparently.
Open world zombies? That kind of sounds fun.
Amount to any really
Not gonna lie.
significant differences in what is a horde zombies mode. Call of Duty Zombies is always fun. They are changing it up a little. Apparently, it's more structured like DMZ mode in Warzone rather than the round-based zombies that we've seen in previous games. I'm not 100% on whether I consider that a welcome change or not. DMZ is fun, though. I don't know. It's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. It's huge. It's a big thing. It's a gaming staple. And as much as these games feel stereotypical sometimes, and obviously we've seen a million of them at this point, they're usually good. So, yeah. Modern Warfare 3 is coming to the PlayStations, the Xboxes, and PC on November 10th.
I mean, I'll say that.
And finally, at number 1.
I will say Call of Duty gets a bad rap a lot, but it's consistently a good game overall. Like there's bad things about it, but it's always a fairly quality product. You know, you're getting most games aren't to that quality, and they're ranked higher. So they've got the quality down. The technicalities of the game, they're the ones like the monetization and all kinds of, you know, little tweaks here and there are the issues of the game. But when your game's like really popular, you set the bar super high every time, you're gonna have a really hard time keeping that bar there. But people are still gonna buy it. It's one of those things, people are still gonna buy it no matter what. No matter what.
It's Super Mario
Besides me.
RPG, a full remake of truly a very well-beloved
Oh my
Super
God.
Nintendo RPG.
This game's gonna get...
Yeah, I'm excited for it. This
So
was
many
an
people are gonna
RPG
buy
that
this game.
Came out in my opinion, the heyday of RPGs, and it was among the best. Honestly, Nintendo was really smart. They were just like, you know what? Who makes the best RPGs? It's Square. Let's have them make the Mario one. And they did, and it was great. Square didn't slouch on the Mario part of Mario RPG.
What? So Square, I didn't know Square Enix did, or was it Square Soft at the time? Maybe it is Square Enix. I didn't know they did this game. They worked with Nintendo on it.
Either. A large part of Mario RPG is basically top-down platforming, and it's all fun. I'm really excited to see.
I would give this a go if I had a Switch.
Obviously, they're keeping it very, very similar to the original release in terms of mechanics. It's still isometric, and I think that's the right way to go. That said, everything looks much more full of life and enjoyable than ever before, and it was a pretty game on the Super Nintendo, to be frank. This is, of course, a Switch exclusive, so everybody with a Switch who wants to play Super Mario RPG is going to be doing it on November 17th. Couple of bonus games for you. Naruto, X Boruto, Ultimate Ninja Storm, Connections.
Never gotten into Naruto. I'm sure I would if I tried.
It's a 3D action fighting game. It looks pretty damn kinetic and action-packed. That's going to be landing on the PlayStations, the Xboxes, Nintendo Switch, and PC on November 16th. Song of Nunu, a League of Legends story.
Ooh.
To be frank, a pretty interesting development. A single-player narrative adventure based on Nunu from League of Legends. That's coming to the Xboxes, the PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch.
I bet you that's going to be great.
November 1st. The Switch port of Hogwarts Legacy which, I mean, we've seen Hogwarts Legacy on like the PS4 versus the PS5 and PC version. So, I mean, I'm kind of impressed that it's even going to be on Switch, but still, Hogwarts Legacy is hitting.
Yeah, the Switch is just such an underpowered
and
machine.
Finally, Tintin Reporter Cigars of the Pharaoh.
They make it work.
A game that is being touted as an extremely faithful reproduction of the Tintin comic. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know. I'm not exactly a big Tintin fan, but I've seen this game described as kind of like a Telltale game, except for a lot happier. So I think for fans of Tintin, that's going to be a lot of fun. It's coming to the PlayStation.
I have no
the
idea
Xbox,
who
and
Tintin
Nintendo
is.
Switch and PC, November 7th. And that's all for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great
Thanks,
time to do so.
Gameranx. I always go to a Gameranx video. It's a good video though. Gameranx always does pretty good, you know, straight to the point videos.